And this is my least favorite event. This thing just does not handle well at all. But you can go pretty much 90 degrees up in the air, which is sort of interesting. Uh, this particular segment, this particular race or track, is less forgiving than previous ones. There are quite a bit more hard angles for you to bump up against. I don't dream of completing any of these optional challenges. So if you want to turn, you basically have to stop applying power, such as the suspension of this dune buggy thing. Not supposed to go up here. All right. Yeah, it's crashing. I'll show you, game. Oh, I'm not there yet. I haven't won yet. Yeah, I don't want to do this again. And I'm not gonna do that race. I hate that race. Gymkhana, the sport invented by Ken Block. Real Ford man, Ken Block. I did a good job. Okay. It's like I have stage fright. Gymkhana is one of the challenges that I find more challenging than the rally racing. Okay, I don't want to just make a drift. I want to do a donut. There we go. I don't know that I can pull one off that's that tight. I don't even know what you want here. There's a jump. I can hit stuff. I'm always hitting stuff in this game. Nope, drift over. I do not make this look easy. I don't do a super impressive job at this event. I'm extremely self-conscious about my performance. I don't know that any of this footage is making it, guys. Well, I did a thing. This is the more boring type of racing event. You're in a modern car that is gonna understeer like crazy unless you really put its front end in water or mud. You really got to work hard to swing it out, and even then, it's gonna scramble away from you. Drifting and trading paint is difficult because it doesn't necessarily consider a power slide a drift. The challenge with dirt is not so much like winning. It's a relatively, I think it's a relatively easy franchise to like come out ahead on. Like you can make a lot of mistakes, and you're not. See, I am really probably traumatizing the tiny man in this car. The game's just not gonna punish you very hard. Like, I am first. There's a predictable physics system here. I would not call it realistic by any measure. Yeah, you gotta slow down and then like really just hammer on the pedal. Even then, you're probably over or understeering into a wall. Oh, actually, a competitor. Okay. It's rainy, so I'm going to understeer more. I didn't need that part of the car. One of the most fun aspects of dirt is that you're playing with elevation a lot. Like, you're not necessarily doing jumps all the time, but your suspension travel and your suspension compression basically really influences how quickly you can turn and rotate the car, and that's a lot of fun when combined with mud and rain and snow and ice and like different vehicle types that are rear wheel drive or all wheel drive, front wheel drive, and the cars feel pretty distinct from one another. So the Subaru WRX like really puts a lot of power and torque down easily, but like I keep complaining about it oversteering. Meanwhile, Mitsubishi Evo from '98 or whatever, an Evo 6 in the classic rally series handles like a dream and puts a ton of torque down and is super duper predictable. You can just like really just slap your finger down on the brake lever and the brake trigger, and then go full send, and then you're rotating around a corner. Where this requires more throttle modulation, or at least less wildly like binary throttle modulation. I've really messed up this car. There is no penalty for that. Dirt is very nice to people who just want to be really, really aggressive. I got rep. I got dollars. There are different cars for every event, and what can be pretty fun about that is they do drive pretty differently. Like I don't have all of these, and frankly, like given that so few, I am from the States and I'm not familiar with a lot of the European cars. And the Ford Escort, it's like I've heard tale of, and obviously Ford is an American company, but this was sort of a Cosworth Ford Europe thing. Ford is cool in Britain and nowhere else. WRX, classic colors. People my age, nearing 30, love these kinds of cars. I don't know if the general TikTok populace does. You start with this Peugeot that's zippy, but it doesn't handle that well. And yeah, this thing, a lot of fun to drive. And like the handling model, again, not accurate, probably, but predictable and very fun. Dirt is like a very good smooth game brain experience for me. I'm currently playing on one level above normal because I don't find it very challenging, and I don't think the goal is necessarily to be a challenging game. But I still find just the game feel pleasant enough, and the level progression pleasant enough. The issue I take with a game like Forza Horizon, which I still think is like a very good driving game experience, is the open world makes a really strong impression for the first few hours, and they do give people who want to spend downtime in a space like a place to be. But for me, like I just want to do the most intense stuff possible, one after another. I don't really care to spend time traveling after getting the wow of whoa. There's this fully realized region of Australia or Rome or Britain most recently, and dirt is just the rally part, which is the part I have the most fun with. Forza Horizon, ad nauseum. Another thing I kind of like about it is it does force me out of JDM, like 90s JDM series cars, because given my way of doing things, I would basically just be in the Mitsubishi Evo Lancer or an MR2 or, some other JDM car and then get kind of bored with the driving dynamics, but not be willing to drive literally anything else in these really open racing events. And dirt restricts you a little bit. So like I'm not the biggest Volkswagen fan, and that's like an arbitrary, almost like spiritual decision I've made for no reason. I just don't like them that much. I don't really like BMWs. Again, I like the Japanese cars. So I tend not to pick them, and then I get a little bit bored because I'm doing the same thing, and the game's not forcing me to do anything that is outside my comfort zone. Whereas dirt is like, no, you're gonna race this dune buggy or this big truck, even though you don't care about trucks because it's fun and we did a good job and you're gonna have fun with it. This more structured approach and level approach is still really easy to pick up and play. Okay, so the Mitsubishi, apparently there are limits to quickly braking and mashing. But yeah, the spread I think is going to be something like near 10 seconds. I think this is. I turned up the difficulty one more yesterday. So yeah, 13 seconds. Just nothing. Nothing like Gran Turismo. Nothing like Forza, where you're actually competing with people. And you can go into the driver's aid settings too and like tune them more to your liking. And because not everything in this game is like a challenge. I got these weird spoon tires. Not the manufacturer's, not the Honda tuner spoon. Just they look kind of spoony. Okay, wonderful. I've already completed 2 of the challenges. The challenge thing is new. I didn't play so Dirt Rally, another great series by some of the same folks at Codemasters. It really challenging. I prefer more of the arcade experience. I'm not a sim racer guy, so I basically wasn't that into those. And then Dirt 4 I think was still more sim like, even though it was toned down significantly from Dirt Rally and Dirt Rally 2. Dirt 5 feels more in line with Dirt 2 and 3 for me, where like it's just it's pretty easy to play. I had a point. I forgot that point. Generally pretty excited about most events. You can get the hang of the whole thing and still come in first most of the time. Like I don't think I've lost a race, and you can restart at any point with no penalty. If you haven't played a lot of racing games and you're sort of interested in what they're like, I don't think this is a bad place to start. I don't know who that is. I feel like everyone's played at least one. But if you haven't explored much of the world beyond kart racers with like Mario Kart, this is like a way to look at models of cars that exist in real life, but otherwise get your Mario Kart like fix. Another kind of funny thing is I've been playing dirt games for a while, and this one definitely seems like less high budget by comparison. I don't know that there are two really big racing franchises. There aren't that many games anymore focused on racing. Onrush, I think, was done by this team before they joined Codemasters, and that didn't do particularly well, though I didn't particularly enjoy that game. I played it a little bit on Game Pass and went, I don't think this is for me. This is this is rubber banding the game. Yeah, it was a feature, and I just didn't enjoy it that much. Gosh, I keep losing track of what I was saying. But even though the graphics aren't, necessarily the best, one of the fun things that you probably will not get an impression of watching my video on TikTok is that this game is not the hardest to get running at pretty high frame rates. So if you've got a high refresh monitor or TV, it's really fun playing this thing at above 60 because it feels great, even if it doesn't look the absolute best. Like Forza 4 still looks significantly better. Gran Turismo Sport, I think, even though you're probably not pushing as high resolution on PS4, looks better than this game. But it's still like a ton of fun. Yeah, your only chance at steering this thing is by tossing out the back wheels. I did it. I'm not very creative with my decals. Yeah, so this is the first vehicle they give you, and I mean, nothing handles better, and it has pretty good performance, so I don't see a reason. I mean, unless I wanted to microtransact my way into still not losing against any of the AI, I don't really see the point. The specular highlights are color correct, and very, like, patchy. This, again, not the best looking game, but an interesting looking game. All these other cars don't have the same kind of reflections. Okay. Oh, I did not hit a car. Okay, it's gonna suck. Maybe I'll restart. If I can hit a car on that first jump, then I think I can clear all these. So these little side mission things, even though they're pretty new, I've enjoyed them for the most part. The thing that I maybe don't like so much about them is that you kind of have to take your eyes off the race at the beginning to just see what they even are. Because some of them, especially anything regarding trading paint, are more difficult than they might seem originally. Because no one will keep up with you. For the most part, I'm still in the pack for some reason, but I've found it pretty difficult to stay in even second place for the majority of a race. For the most part, it's just me sort of plowing through, having fun, but just absolutely destroying everyone. So I have to purposefully go slower if I want to complete that objective. So I do wish that at the beginning of the race, you could see what they were before you started racing. It would just be nice to, maybe while the counter's counting down or something, just make sure that you already know what you're planning to do before the race starts. And it would be, I guess, nice if other drivers could keep up with you so I could actually trade paint while drifting or jumping throughout a race. Because if something's not available right at the beginning, you're kind of SOL. And even then, there's no guarantee. I restarted the race and I still didn't get to bump into anybody. It feels really good to wrap yourself around a turn with some mud. It'll help some wheels lose traction, and then when you're cutting in from the inside of a wheel, that slows you down for the turn. I do like the handling model, not just because I find it easier to control, but I do love the feedback and how rumbling works in dirt. There are a few games that make me feel more connected to the sensation of driving a vehicle with a controller than dirt. Oops, well, doesn't really matter because I cannot kill the little man inside the car, and everyone is slow. Another one where I finished nearly 10 seconds ahead. Ooh, unlimited. Oh, that's a class. I forgot that that's a class. Rock Bouncer, don't love. Formula Off-Road. The Aerial Nomad, another vehicle that I will never drive in real life, but it's quite fun in this game. Handles really well. Okay, I only need to trade paint once. Done. Great. Alright. Did not do that well. First power slide of the night. Oops. Okay, through throttle modulation, anything is possible, including more oversteer. Because in that Mitsubishi, I really have to just slam down the gas in order to get it to rotate. Is it the shoes?